I recorded this video a month ago and then decided not to post it because I went through a very bad creativity slump. Poopy is right here. It was so bad that felt like a crisis. I was really depressed, so I decided to delete all the social media for a while. Sorry, I didn't give you a heads up. It was really a terrible situation. I spent a month to work on my mind, trying to restore my creativity and my sensitivity, and now I'm back. And I'll share with you the process of recovering my creativity in next week's video. But in this week, let's watch this vlog in the beginning of a crisis. Hi my friend, welcome back to my entire day screenwriting vlog. I have a confession. Since I was back from China trip, I was having a very difficult time. I'm still having a very difficult time to get back into my daily writing habit. I think the main reason is because I suddenly dropped out my daily writing around a month and a half, a little bit over a month and a half ago. And then that's long enough for me to lose the momentum completely. It's almost like building a new habit of not writing. There are days I start feeling a little bit down because of not able to get myself into the zone of the story. I almost feel like I'm sort of losing touch with the story, the world that I was creating. So today I reserved this entire day to dedicate to my writing. Of course, there will be a little bit of reading time as well, but I want to have enough time to put my mind into the story to figure out where to start. The problem is, in the last couple of weeks, I was writing. I spent the time to write, but each day I only have very limited time, and then that's not enough for me to completely figure out and getting into the story world, because I'm not in the story world constantly. But I think once I can expand period of time to dedicate to get my brain into the story world, hopefully today, and maybe in that way I can kind of set a tone for myself, for my mind mainly. I don't know about you, but I think to me this whole thing of writing, making film, it's all about mind game. It's all about how you use this thing, how you trick this thing, and how you taking care of this thing to gradually get things done for some reason. And sometimes when I looking back of films that I made, I don't even know how I did it. Just feel like it's a very daunting and impossible task. But every time when you face a challenge, you were able to break it down and find a unique solution to it, to take care of your brain. I think eventually things start putting together. So today I want to spend time to get my mind back into that story world. Hopefully in that way, even when I'm not writing, it's in the background of my attention. It's in my subconscious. So that's the goal. But first thing first, I'm going to do some morning reading. I've been reading this book. You're probably not going to interest it that much. It's nothing literature related. It's called The Warren Buffett Way. I've been very into investing lately. Not so much of like investing in terms of trading, but I want to know where to place my saving in a way that can not maximize the potential of growth, but at least it's not going to lose its value. I hope that makes sense. So I start looking into investment stuff. The book is almost finished, so hopefully I can get it done today. So I'm going to enjoy my first cup of morning coffee in the backyard, and later I'm going to go back inside to start my daily writing. I think a booger wants to come out here. Booger! I got the booger out here. I spent an hour in reading, and it's such a down-to-the-earth investment book. It's not those get quick rich trading book, but it's a book to really understand your attitude and emotion towards investment. Anyway, I'm back into the house now, and I got another cup of coffee. My plan is I'm going to read through the parts of the screenplay that I already written. No matter it's good or not, I'm going to find out soon. Throughout the reading, I'm going to identify one small step to take for the next couple hours. And let's get started into the writing. So here I am, going through the pages that I wrote. I thought most of them were pretty bad back then when I was writing them, but today when I'm reading it, it doesn't look that bad at all. It's actually quite clear, communicated, and very efficient, and I like the pace and the way it's set up. So basically what I've been working on is montage sequence. And after reading today, I made my mind I'm going to try to change this sequence to a montage but also a musical sequence. So it will be a montage with people singing to help out express different kind of emotions throughout the entire sequence. I noticed I made a lot of notes and I color-coded certain things. I used multiple different colors, and a couple months later I don't specifically remember what color represents what, and now I'm figuring it out and write the color code list at the bottom of the screenplay so I can referencing them. For now, I'm color coding my screenplay in those categories, things that I want to revisit, music related since it's a musical, and then green is the things I really like, yellow it's a theme related, that's just helping me keep tracking of whether or not the story is following the theme. And then the last one is orange. It's general notes. It's just general things I want to communicate with the reader of the screenplay, only for the reader. For example, in the beginning of the screenplay, I have an orange sentence. It says everything that's in the parenthesis. Is that the word? You know, like in the brackets, every dialogue in the brackets means this dialogue is spoken in Chinese. In that way, I don't have to mark out every single Chinese dialogue individually. That's how I write my early draft of bilingual screenplay. I'm very used to writing screenplay in English, so I would write everything in English. And then later, when I share the screenplay with different actors on the production stage, I would start changing the dialogue into Chinese for individual characters that have Chinese dialogue. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, I kind of went far away from the topic. I'm talking about color coding. So I find coding the color and then marking out notes throughout the screenplay can really help you coming back for the rewriting stage. Let me show you something real quick what I meant by using the notes. In the very beginning, I was writing this VHS normal montage, VHS home video montage, and later I was thinking, what if it can become a music montage? So I put a notes right here. So as you can see, the color is violet, so that means it's something related to music. And I can put notes related to this right here. If I click this bracket, the notes will pop up. It's basically marking a notes of some production idea that I have for this specific montage relate to music, which is this color. I don't know if I'm showing you things in such a general way, if it makes sense, but my point is always taking notes and then color coding stuff along the way, because there are always a lot of great idea comes into your mind while you're writing. So the best thing to do is capture them as soon as you can, and then later when I'm revisiting this section of the screenplay, and then I click on the specific color-coded notes, and I go in there and then read those ideas. A lot of time I would feel so amazed by how did I come up with that. Those are the ideas that you can incorporate in the rewrite stage or the production stage. So I found them very helpful. Of course, there are sometimes I read the notes that I marked down and I thought the idea was really lame, and then I would delete that notes for the good. But you never know, in the moment, whatever you come up with, it's always a good idea to write them down. After I'm done organizing the color coding system, now I'm going in to rewrite this montage sequence. What I'm doing here is basically pick out the place that I feel I can add music lines. I'm not writing the specific lyric for the song, but I marked places that I want certain characters sing and what kind of emotion I want to express during that scene or that specific sequence. And then in that way, when later I'm collaborating with a songwriter, they can go in to look at all the notes and have a rough idea of what I'm visualizing, I'm imagining in my mind. I'm doing this based on some interviews I've seen, how other people collaborated, and also part of it is how I think in my work for me, this whole process is going to be an experiment process, because it's really difficult to find a project that's musical that I can work or volunteer in order to learn how it works. I believe filmmaking is a process of figuring out what you want and then put it on the page and then find the most efficient way for yourself to communicate with your collaborators. So it doesn't really matter, at least for now, how it's supposed to be done, just as there are a lot of rules how a screenplay is supposed to be written. But a lot of screenwriter or writer-directors, they wrote the screenplay the way that works for them. So it's really up to us how we want to communicate with our future collaborators. That's how I think what screenwriting is. Anyway, I finished up changing this montage sequence into a musical montage sequence, but the entire montage sequence is not finished yet. So I went ahead, added another 3 scenes in there. There are still a few other things I want to put into this sequence, so I'm going to work on that a little bit later. Right now it's already 12 o'clock. I noticed the mirror is going to be opposite, but anyway, it's a little past 12 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead, eat my lunch, and maybe I need to take a nap. But tonight I need to go to bed really early because I have to get up probably around 3 in the morning tomorrow. So I don't know, depends on how I feel after lunch. Maybe I'll take a nap. And I feel my hair is really uncomfortable and greasy as well, so I'm going to take a shower afterwards, and I come back to continuously working on my screenplay a little bit more. Okay, now let's go ahead get some lunch. And by the way, I saw there were a lot of birds in the yard, so I bought a bird feeder and then a lot of seeds to feed them. Look, and then they are coming here to getting their food every single day, and then my cats love them. They will squatting next to the window and watching birds for hours. Hi guys, I'm back for my shower. I had a quick lunch, made some buckwheat with beet leaf, fresh beet leaf I bought from farmer's market. I took a quick 10 minutes nap, so right now I feel slightly energy-wise refreshed. And I got Walmart right here. He is asking me to pet him, so kittens always make my mood feel much better. Anyway, I'm thinking this afternoon I want to work on the musical montage sequence that I was working on. Hopefully I can finish this sequence, at least a bad draft. And I want to change up the scenery a little bit, go right in the backyard. It's really hot out there, but I still want to go sit out for a little bit and see how I feel. I'm going to get some ice water and then go ahead, move outside, and let's go. So I end up spending a long time in the backyard to write. It's actually not as hot as I thought it would be, and also there's really nice little breeze every once in a while that really clear my head a lot. I've heard a study that if you spend about 2 hours each week outdoor, it can really help you boost your mood as well as your creativity. And even if it's just 20 minutes a day in the backyard, I think it's going to be very helpful. Like today, I started to feel very dreadful, but immediately because of the environment, the breeze, the sound of leaf blowing by the wind really create a calming effect for me, and I was be able to very focus and present with the writing that I was working on. And in general, today I think I did a pretty good progress, because last few times when I attempted to write, I was reading and analyzing my old notes, I was working on the beat sheet, I was even trying to read through the script that's already written, and now that helped. I felt my mind was all over the place, and I'm very happy today I was able to have more hours to focus on figuring out what's the next step to take. And the best part is I'm very surprised that the parts that's written wasn't as bad as I thought. So I think I'm going to keep going on this draft. And then today I think I made a pretty good progress, not only change the sequence into a musical sequence, but also I've been writing more scenes and then coming up with a couple scenes that I think it can echo later on in the story, like there are similarities, so I think it would be a very nice scene to echoing the theme for me. And every time I come up with things that highlighting the theme, it always make me feel excited. And then one most important thing, I think the biggest accomplishment is I'm at a point that I know what I want to do next. I don't know if you remember, there's a trick that I use to keep myself be able to write daily, is to assign myself a task for the next day, every day when I finish writing. So today, after this writing session, I find myself have a clear idea of what's the next step, and I'm going to go ahead assign that to tomorrow. And in that way, it can help really beat procrastination, beat the daunting feeling before you start writing. Because I think a lot of time when we not be able to write daily is when we have the time to sit down, we don't know where to start. It's as daunting as facing a blank page. So having a personal assignment for yourself, have today's Nani assigned for tomorrow's Nani, it's always been very helpful. I'm very glad that I can figure out this today, because this is where the momentum start builds. Fingers crossed, I hope tomorrow's writing session can go as smooth as today, but I only have a couple hours though. If it's not, that's totally okay, as long as I'm making progress, even it's not so good a progress, even it's not so good writing, that's still some sort of accomplishment, because bad writing is very necessary foundation for a good writing. Another benefit of creating a writing assignment for the next day is it really creates this anticipation, excitement for me. It's like when I read through the sentence of what I want to do for tomorrow, my mind immediately jumps back into the story world. It's almost jump back into where I stopped, and I feel like I can't wait to pick it back up again. In this way, it really helps in terms of making progress for the story that I'm writing. Anyway, I hope whatever I did today gave you some sort of comfort or motivate you in some way, and thank you so much for being here with me, hold me accountable. If you are new here and you like this video, remember to subscribe to this channel to help me build this community together. And you might also like this video right here, and remember, be patient, be present, stay creative. I'll see you next week. Bye. Beep.